And we're live. Hello. Welcome to the second edition of Open Government Hour. We're going to talk about better governments. We're here to talk about better governments, opening up governments for better public services. My name is Livio. I'm your host. I'm the Miami Program Manager for Cofer South Florida. I handle a lot of the storytelling and a lot of the stuff that happens in terms of messaging for the organization. And today I'm very excited to present to you the student panel for the Justice Discovery Initiative. This is the team that's been working on the on the initiative. If you want more information, you can go on codeforsouth.org/slash justice-discovery-initiative, which I'm going to put on the banner right now. But yeah, in the meantime, how about we do some quick introductions of the student panel? First, I want to introduce you guys. We're going to talk about some of the things that are happening within Miami Tech, and then we're going to go right into, your experience, the student experience of the Justice Discovery Initiative. So, who wants to start?
Well, my name is Jose Hernandez. I'm currently a student at Miami-Dade College, and I got involved into this program, especially in the project of Batch Wash. And I've been working with Ariel and Augie, as he presents himself, and it has been a very nice experience for me. I've learned a lot and much more. I would like also other people to present themselves, though.
Cool. Okay. Let's go next.
Hello, my name is Irael. I've been having a lot of fun with Jose and the other Jose and their name complications. It's very right when I say one Jose and the other one looks. I'm a MDC graduate right now. I'm in FIU studying computer science for my bachelor's.
Nice. And what's your role in the project, Ariel?
My role is kind of we're all kind of back end now. Like Jose Hernandez is our visualization. I'm working right now with the admin stuff, and Augie is working more towards the database.
Cool. Who wants to introduce themselves next?
Hello, everyone. My name's Jose. I like to go by Augie. My last name's Aguilar, so everyone can call me Augie. But I am part of this initiative of Badge Watch. I am a current student at Miami-Dade, almost done with my bachelor's in application development. I needed an internship, so I was provided by Miami-Dade to give me this opportunity. And to be honest, it's been a fun one. It's been really well working from different languages to finding out which ones aren't very good to which ones are very powerful, different frameworks, and how we can all provide a type of different ways to contribute. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, and working with Ariel and Pepe as he likes. Well, I call him Turbo because in the back in the fan is loud and I can see now. But other than that, it's been, Jose's more of the visuals. He's always there providing any information that we always need or any type of algorithm or math to go ahead and provide that. Me and Ariel kind of go both ways. We're both, sometimes he's the back end and then working with admin. And then I'm like either working with admin or the back end. And but it's been without them, I don't know how far we could have really gotten. Countless hours of just straight coding and no sleep. But it's been I'm gonna give some room for the lady to go ahead and introduce herself. But it's been a pleasure working with the team that I do have, and it's been a pleasure of being part of the initiative of Badge Watch.
Very happy to hear. We're definitely going to talk a lot more about that. But Genesis, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Genesis. You guys know me as Jen, and I'm the data analyst for the People Budget Project. I'm also from Miami-Dade College. I'm studying data analytics, and I've been creating visualizations for that website. It's been a very educational experience. And yeah, I've been having a really good time with Greg working on this.
Nice, very nice. So for our viewers, Greg, I mean, you're here, the director of Code for South Florida. So if you would like to introduce yourself and kind of explain what, for the new viewers, what Batch Watch and Justice Discovery are, in the case that what Justice Discovery is, and the two projects that compose it, in the case that we have any new viewers coming in.
Sure thing. So Greg here, Code for South Florida director. So Justice Discovery Initiative happened in kind of response to what we saw with not only the Black Lives Matter, but just the movement around people that were really interested at the local government level of, you know, what is the budget and how do I get involved in understanding how budget decisions are being made? The same thing for kind of Badge Watch. We had a journalist named Daniel Rivero who works for WLRN, and he built a spreadsheet. And he was looking for basically a way to turn that spreadsheet into something Google searchable. And we came up with the Justice Discovery Initiative because we realized that when it comes to building solutions for end users or people in our community, oftentimes you build things without asking people, hey, what do you want? So a part of this initiative is discovering that. And the reason we're very excited to work with these Miami-Dade College students is they're not only incredibly talented, but they're future technologists that will be working for the next big tech company in the field that they choose. And it's very important for us to just let them know that they have a voice and their skills can be used to make government better, rather than open source and public data.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing that we're about. We definitely want to, you know, put a lot of that talent that we have in Miami to good use, and build better public services that help us open up governments and make people generally engage, have a better experience interacting with local government. So it's very much at the core of this project. But before we really get into the specific experience of what it's been working in Justice Discovery and hearing it straight from the students, let's talk a little bit more about the South Florida context and some of the things that are happening right now in South Florida. I think that the best place to start would be talking about some of the recent interest that the city of Miami mayor Francis Suarez has expressed. I'm gonna share my screen now. In Miami Tech, because there's a recent influx of Silicon Valley entrepreneurs coming to Miami. Let's see. Greg, do you want to talk a little bit more about that while I'm trying to get my screen share up?
Yeah, happy to touch on that. So typically when thinking about local government, for us as technologists or people that work in technology, we know all the big names. But in different cities, they have different levels of interaction with government. Over the weekend, actually last week, Mayor Suarez made a tweet stating that he was welcoming any technologists to come to our city and telling them that, you know, how could he help, and sending them phone numbers and various things, different things that he talked about. And that just created a culture and kind of viral shift where many people were just like, how can we get in touch with the mayor? We want to build our business in Miami because Miami has a lot of advantages. As we know, it's sunny, it's warm, but there's also different tax benefits. There's a huge culture of people from Latin America, the Caribbean, and Miami building various companies. So over the week, it's just been a viral kind of thing. And today he stated that he's doing a talk at 6 p.m. where he's going to be speaking with the founder of Shutterstock, billionaire, 1.3 billion in terms of net worth, who recently located to Miami and is currently working out of the city.
Yeah, that's he's gonna have an actual, he's gonna have like an actual live stream with the CEO of Shutterstock. And for those who don't know, Shutterstock is a very dominant force in the world of stock images. They're probably one of the first. Well, I don't want to say one of the first, but definitely one of the more familiar brands when it comes to stock photos, which is a very exciting thing to have people like that interested in Miami and literally our backyard where we're building all these tech solutions. But get a little bit more into that. It's very exciting. Long story short, it's very exciting to be in Miami Tech simply because of this new influx of talent to Miami. Which brings me to kind of my next point and to highlight one of my peers here in local Miami Tech. I wouldn't call him my peer because he was an instructor when I was learning how to code at WinCode. But we have a friend here, Austin Bunsen, who also he's been posting weekly threads as well of things that are happening in Miami, in the Miami tech scene. He calls like "Que hola," which means like "what's up" per se, for Spanish speakers. Would that be a good way to say it? Like "what's up," "Que hola"?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's a little more charismatic, like go.
Yeah, right.
It's more extreme. It's more Cuban things to say, like with a punch.
It's like what you say after you've downed like your morning cafecito. It's like "Que hola." But yeah, he does these weekly threads, and it's a great place to get informed. And that's pretty much where I've been getting a lot of my news, or at least my summary of news in Miami Tech. A lot of venture capitalists moving to Miami, people from Silicon Valley who are bringing their talent and their networks here into the city, and we would definitely be able to bring a lot of those ideologies and methodologies. Part of what we're doing here is kind of bringing that talent and bringing that, taking all those good things that we've learned from Silicon Valley and from the startup culture, and kind of implementing it in the context of public services. Okay, which kind of brings me to another thing, to the next point of something exciting that's happening here. Greg, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but I wanted to start talking about Tech Loves Miami now.
Yeah, just to add on to that, people from all over, not just the Valley, are coming here in New York, Seattle. I mean, Miami is a great place to be. And we encourage any people moving here, if they're doing this, to look at some of our interns, hire them, hire local. We have the talent here from FIU, Miami-Dade College, UM. It's here, as long as you look out for it. And leave it to you, Olivia, to kick off Tech Loves Miami.
Yeah, so this is Tech Loves Miami is kind of I don't remember. I don't totally know the person who's behind this, but this is someone who has been reaching out to every single like major figure in local Miami scene and just basically sending them the same message. Hey, is there anybody interested in participating, driving tech into philanthropy to benefit Miami charities? If you look at every single this Twitter account is just trying to connect every single person. I think there's something very, very South Florida about this, in that it's not so much about what you know, but really about who you know and who you talk to and how you say it. Similar to the Windcode story where they spoke to every single person in Miami Tech several years ago and said, hey, we're going to do this. This person here is also driving all that driving that technology interest towards philanthropy. And there's something, it's still something that's very recent, but I think it's very indicative of where we're going to go as an ecosystem. Just bringing a lot of that talent and a lot of that potential that we know we have as a region, not just in Miami but in South Florida, and putting it to work for the public interest and for good causes. So that concludes the segment for local news. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And it really moves us into where we're here today, right? Philanthropy efforts, talent, putting talent to work in and making a meaningful impact. So how are you? How's the Batchwatch team doing?
We're working. We've gotten the database. We've had to kind of rework and re-image for the admin, because everything has to go through admin. Like, we got in the local level of the database. Then once you get to the web, you start to explore, and it's really driven us to learn more. It's really pushed us to our limits. We spent a lot of nights just looking at documentation, because we do it way, and then we figure out that has problems. We have to go back and figure out a new way, and that is more future-proof. So we kind of optimize, and then some bug pops out. We pull out our hairs, we crank another all-nighter, and just start working on it. It's been really
sounds
fun.
like an adventure. How's People Budget doing?
I think Greg has done an incredible job on the back end developing the website, and I've worked more on the visualizations. So we've been gathering the data straight from the City of Miami Management and Budget website, and gathering all their data on their revenue and expenditures and putting it all into really cool visualizations for people to be able to see and analyze where our city's money's going and where it's being spent. Greg?
Yeah, I mean, we've made a lot of headway in researching various ways of like visualizing data, and looking at different tools to do it. And Genesis has been extremely helpful. She started off with Tableau, and she dived really into Power BI and has become quickly a Power BI little like expert in the way that she's working. We've also just been really looking at making sure the designs are there and making sure that we're really kind of like answering the problem of like making the budget better rather than just taking it and turning and spinning out a visualization. We're making a lot of headway there, and we're really excited about what's to come in the week.
Nice. So let's start getting into some questions for the students specifically, so we can we definitely want to know how we want not just us, but we want the whole world to really know like how the experience has been and what you've learned. So I'm gonna open up the first question, which we know who you are, a little bit about who you are, but and once you learned about Justice Discovery Initiative, right before you started working on it, what were some of the first thoughts that came to mind? How did you feel, and what challenges did you have in the beginning of the project?
Well, for me at least, I saw the internship and I looked at the projects they had, and I really wanted to work on Badge Watch because it sounded really, really useful, especially in this time where we need somewhere where we can visualize everything that the city has. People's budget, I was interested in, and the Badgeless search was also interested. I love the Badgeless search more because we can visualize how many complaints are going to be out there, how many actually follow through, like if they're found to be kind of penalized, like police penalized for it or not. It was kind of very interesting seeing that. Uh, I knew I was working with Jose before because we're kind of friends before, so we got into the experience of our natural flow. I started a club and then he took over the club, so we've been working for a very long time.
What's the name of the club?
It's right now IEEE International I forget the stand, but it's International Electronics Engineers, I believe. Robotics Automation Society at MDC.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful.
That's a mouthful.
IEEE RAS at MDC. Jose is now leading it. Jose Hernandez is now leading it as president. I kind of went into the back end and I'm managing kind of the website there.
Nice, very nice. So who else wants to share their first thoughts about Justice Discovery before they started working on it?
Well, before I started working on this project, I like the idea of the Badge Watch because first it was related to police, and I have read the news and I have seen what is like currently going on with police and stuff like that. And also I was interested in the fact that it was actually an application, and I wanted to learn how does that actually work. And when I first got into the project, I was totally lost. I didn't know what to do. I just saw a bunch of code in GitHub. I was like, oh my God, how we get this together? And then I was told that we could actually start from scratch and analyze our own data for Miami for the police complaints. And from there, I took the lead with the real and Augie, and we have been working from there on with pretty much constantly working towards our goal. And it have been nice from there, from the jump start, from the first time I didn't know how to do. But then we took up, and we're about to like finish what we started like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you as a web developer that every time you look at a new code base, you're going to have the same feeling. You're just going to know where to start from, but this feeling's always the same. What do I do? So I'm glad you mentioned that. Who else wants to talk about their first impressions of the challenges around the project, or the challenges they saw in the project?
Well, I'm almost finished with my bachelor's. I just have 2 more classes, so next semester. And I kind of wanted to see a taste of what am I going to be doing after that. So the head coordinator of my bachelor's went ahead and sent out an email. That's how Jose and Ariel went ahead and got in. And I thought it was a perfect opportunity. I really didn't matter if I was part of any of the projects. I just wanted to be part of whichever. When I came into BadgeWatch Search, I kind of liked the idea behind it. You know, I've never been so much politically involved since the last 4 years. And with that being said, I mean, there's just so much going on. So I feel like this would really benefit people out there in order to, you know, go through the features or whatnot. I ran into situations so much different from school. I mean, you would never, you know, they give you a prompt, you solve it, you use what they give you, and then it's like, it works. Here it is. But this was like, okay, now you got to run servers. Now you got to develop straight from like scratch how to connect things together. It was a lot of reading. I mean, and most of our time is not even coding. It's just looking for references of, okay, we got this, but this doesn't work now. Okay, now we got to redo that because something went wrong over here. But it's just that sense of, we got it. We were able to do it with like, just the implementations of we have or the references. And I mean, GitHub, I didn't know how to work with GitHub. You know, that's something we all had to learn it, how to push and fork things over and create repositories. Greg helped me out. You know, he gave me a good reference. I went ahead and followed it. But it was those fun things, you know, never worked with the framework, and now I'm working with Django. And Django has really given us that step forward to go ahead and be able to work together as a group, because we all just had different files on our local drive. No one was really working together, so it was a little bit weird, you know. And that by references and by Googling and like, what's the best source that we can do with this language that we have, and you know, BadgeWatch has given us the freedom to like really be artistic. At the end of the day, I feel like I have an AA, and this is like art to me. So it's fun, you know, to provide that, the front end and the back end. It's been tough, but you know, the experiences come with it. So I thank BadgeWatch for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. There's definitely hit a lot of themes of having like real world experience and complementing your education and your professional development. Those are things that, you know, they're very important. Whether you're a student, whether you're a professional, like you're gonna have to have a little bit of both, that theory and that practice. But let's go over to Genesis. Genesis, what were your first impressions of the projects, and what were some of the first challenges you overcame working in the project?
I think aside from the initial, all of us equally wanting to get experience in our field, because I really did want to dive in and wet my feet a little bit and see what it was really like, which I've definitely gotten. What drew me in, it was more the fact that I liked the values that this organization is aligned with. I like the fact that you guys this project is surrounded on the idea of the community involving themselves with the government, giving everybody a place to actually do something, especially right now. Our country is at a time where social justice reform is extremely crucial. And this organization really does, or this initiative specifically really does bridge that gap. So that is probably what drew me in the most, that I was going to have a place in actually doing something, being proactive about this cause, at the same time getting my experience.
Nice, very nice. I mean, across the board, part of what I hear is that, you know, that you're all very happy to get that complementary professional experience while you're still in school and trying to discover what it is that you're doing. So you're not, funny enough, you're not just discovering, you know, justice and the applications of these tools, but you're also discovering yourself throughout the process, which is, you know, as a web developer, I'm also like, that is awesome.
Absolutely.
So that leads me to my next question, right? You know, the beginning of the project, you overcame a lot of challenges, but of course, overcoming challenges you know, you have to, you're always learning when you're trying to solve and overcome new challenges. So my question to you is that what have you learned about yourself as a public interest technology professional, and how has this project changed how you view your career prospects?
I can go first.
Oh,
I think
Please.
the biggest thing that I took with this, my biggest lesson, was communication. When I entered this, I made it clear I was extremely intimidated. I saw all these programs that I had never seen before, and I was really wondering if this was something that I was actually going to be able to do or not. And when I communicated what I could and could not do, what I knew and did not know, it was just that matter of communication. And Greg was able to say, okay, great. Let's alter the programs. If you know Tableau, let's figure out if you can work with Microsoft Power BI. And I think being transparent and communicating that was what made this successful for me in the long run. So I'll
Nice.
definitely take that in the future.
Nice, very nice. So on the fly learning and pivoting according
I
to the
think
requirements.
also sometimes we go into things, you know, not necessarily lying, but scared to admit what we can and cannot do. At least I did, or, you know, that was what was happening with me. So being able to communicate that and be straightforward with what my capabilities are and what they're not, and what I guess I needed more work on. Not only did it give all of us room to be more productive, but it also helped me grow in those areas.
Yeah,
Awesome.
and to touch on that, not to steal from you, Livio, but I think that just brings to a different point of like when we look at the problem and like open source, GitHub has interesting research on this. There's just like need for more diversity all across the board. When we look at some of these projects and we look at what's important to getting somebody involved in a project, when we look at what male versus female are saying about projects, having a contributing guide is important, as well as just an opportunity to have a welcoming community based on where they're at. And oftentimes new technologists are placed in this position where it's like, oh, I have to learn something new. But that is something that even employees have. Like I could tell you off the bat, I've worked on numerous projects where at an employer or a client, they're just like, okay, we need you to learn this tool right now in like the next 2 weeks. And it's like, I don't have that experience. But a part of that and the way they evaluate you, even at like bigger tech companies, it's not just based on like what skill sets you have, but how willing you are to learn. And I think one thing that Genesis has proven is that she's been able to pick up Power BI very quickly, build out dashboards and databases. So it's really just a place of saying, okay, what are you willing to learn? And are you a fast learner? And Genesis has proven that. And I think the more technologists that come into the space realizing that that is something that you can have as a skill set, even if you don't know a particular thing, is super important.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's something you're not taught in a textbook, you know, and that I learned from experiences. Just you got to be able to extend your arms in different ways and be able to really see if you can learn quickly. So yeah, I'll take that with me.
Awesome. I love all that. I love absolutely all of that. Who else wants to answer the question? I put it at the bottom so I don't have to say it every single time. So if you're not sure what the question is, it's right down there. So Sam, what have you learned, and how has this project changed how do you view your career prospects as emerging technologists? Jose, you might be muted.
Can I go?
Hello. So I've learned from myself that I actually like to program. I didn't know that, and to program with other people. I have always worked by myself in programming, but I've never worked on a programming project with other people. And so I kind of like it because it's as Agi said, it's kind of like you need to have that connection in between what other people are doing to have a successful project, and that have made me like programming more than I previously did. I have learned also about my career prospects because I'm more hardware oriented in the computer. It's my major is computer engineering, but I now that I got the taste of how is the software side related, I am as interested in hardware as in software. It's like whatever I have to do is like I like it. I like both the software and the hardware. Just the
Sounds like
software is much more reachable than the hardware.
I think IoT might be a very good sweet spot for you because it's both as much about the hardware as it is about the software. So I'm just putting that out there, but definitely collaboration is one of the most important things in this industry because it's collaboration that makes anything happen, right? And the ability to work with other people and say, hey, I have this skill set that might be of use to you. How can I make it best help you and really reach a compromise with your collaborators, with your users as to like what it is that you're going to build? It's really, really important. So I'm very, very happy you say that, Jose. So who wants to? We're already a little bit past the 30-minute mark, but we're gonna go on because it's not that much longer that we have left. But who wants to go next? Augie or Ariel? How? Please go ahead.
I like to code with other people. Coding is a pain that once you get right, you just have so much fun with it. That's how to describe. It's like agonizing pain, but once you get out of it, it's like the best feeling you get. There's nothing better than solving a problem, but to go through the problem itself, it's just hard. What I've learned about myself is that I really need to communicate with other people. We needed to share more files. We needed to have an understanding of each other so our flow is better. We really connect. It's really amazing because I can take this into future projects and kind of try to apply what I've learned here, not just like the tech part, but like the humanities side where we talk, we spend hours trying to figure out a problem, we link each other references, we email back and forth, we just put GitHub code, and I think that's the most that I've taken out of this whole thing, just sharing with others and learning really, really fast.
I'm glad you say that, and you know the way that you said it because it reminds me of exactly what we're trying to do with government, right? We're trying to enable collaboration and enable communication and enable flow of information and services, right? In the same way that you guys are collaborating as a team, we're trying to through our platforms and our work, we're trying to enable that better collaboration and communication between people, between local governments, nonprofits, and social services in general. So a lot of the things you just said are very parallel with what you're doing, even at the even in the very abstract and scaled sense. So good stuff. How about you? Or you want to hear your take? I know you have a lot to say.
I definitely agree with Ariel. It's the most that I've had fun here. It's definitely not the coding part, but it was making them as like my friends. And we did pass man. We learned. So it started off with, okay, let's grab a file. Ariel fixed the file, and then Jose provided the visuals for that file to see where we're at. And then I came in with the database, and I only took one class, web development, that provides some jQuery and some SQL, but it was so difficult to like understand, like, okay, this is a whole different environment now, and you have to change to that environment. So you kind of have to take a realization within yourself that you don't understand something, and that's okay. And Badgewatch was able to be like, hey, you don't understand it? That's fine. Let's do a language you do understand. And thus Python. I was very interested working with Python because it's the #1 language being used right now, which is very beneficial for all of us to be able to put into our resume for the next job or even get that on hands-on. School doesn't really explain the power of what these web programming languages are really capable of doing. That's not something you find out in school. So that really, for the future, I mean, I learned Python now with these guys, man, in like 2-3 weeks. You know, the power behind it and the things that you can do. I was working with SQLite 3, which is like a database that you can run straight from Python. You know, I had no clue that was a possibility. Like to read CSV files and then just fill in the database with that file full of data, 2,000, 6,000 rows. I mean, that was it was really fun doing that. That's not something we learn in school. So being able to communicate, you know, okay, you don't know how to do that. That's okay. I don't know how to do that either. But here's some references and we'll figure it out one way or another. So a big part of this has been especially, I mean, we have two other people, Eileen and Joan, and you know they've really helped us out too of how to explain things and how to be able, hey, you know, what about this idea instead? And it just as developers helps us out to come up with you know, a faster, better, more structured type of programming. And that all comes by, you know, everyone having our flaws, and then kind of, you know, the whole team here kind of has been like boosting up one another and in a very, you know, real, like Jose didn't know how to code. And then like by week 4, he was sending us code over that had files reading in and displaying stuff. So it's really been a benefit of that. So I would definitely take that into my next job. Like, I don't know how to work with this, but school has taught me, has given me the privilege of, you know, okay, go get this book or go get that reference and read about it and get an understanding, because that is what education has given me in that sense. Like, I don't understand something, I go get the tools to understand it and then just do that every day and practice on it and then enhance that as we move forward. So for my next, I mean, I would never, I would be prepared for anything as a web developer at this point. So I'm really excited to have been working with the whole project and the team as well.
It's a
Thanks.
long road ahead of you, but we're excited to see where you go, man. Nixon, we're excited to see where everyone goes here, because this is the kind of project that you know, that really gives you a solid foundation of what's capable, of what's possible with your skill sets. Even if you don't know them, you know, you learn on the fly and you focus on making a positive impact. So with that, we have to conclude our open government hour. The answer is yes, Greg. You can send a question. But,
yeah, so I just wanted to send the last question. I know we're concluding, but I'm really curious
Yes.
and would love to get Genesis' view, who has been helping us with data visualization on People Budget. So we're in a pandemic now. Obviously, a lot of students right now are in this time, especially going to public college, of deciding, like, do I want to keep going to college, or should I focus on this? Can you talk about like balancing all the things and why you chose to offer some time to this project, and why finishing up your degree is so important for you during this pandemic?
Yes, I think that the pandemic, it was actually vice versa. For me, it was a great opportunity being home. A lot of things were taken from me. A lot of work was taken from me. I teach dance. I'm a mom, so I balance a few things. I'm going to start studying with NASA now in January. And the way I think I've been able to balance everything was taking advantage of this opportunity, taking advantage of this time at home, and not really viewing this pandemic as such a downfall, but more as an opportunity to explore and to take advantage. And you guys provided a great opportunity for that. You guys have been awesome. You guys have been, I think, important during this pandemic. So it gave us data nerds an opportunity to, you know, get involved. So I think that was it. I think for me, it was taking advantage of that free time and doing as much as I could with it.
Nice. That's a bomb closing statement. But yeah, many thanks, Genesis, and many thanks to Miami-Dade College and pretty much our community that has allowed us to kind of come up to this point. Everything that we've been doing, we're also channeling it through the students. And because we want to train more talent and train more people and really build a better ecosystem through better public services and better applications. So,
sorry, I should have mentioned Miami-Dade. You guys are teamed up with them, right? Miami-Dade did offer us this opportunity, so we got to give credit where it's due. I think they did a great job at that. And also another thing that made it possible was their flexible scheduling and working with us as students to be able to engage in that too.
Yeah, the world has changed, so everyone's got to make their it's got to have some flexibility for work from home and working remotely. So this has been very exciting. I think we've covered a lot of great topics, and I think we're going steadfast into the future. So I'm very happy to have had this conversation with y'all. But unfortunately, now we got to close down because first we have another meeting to finish up the project, and we're already way ahead of time. But that's okay. This was great. Any final quick words before we leave?
No one is coming. It's up to us.
That's right. And with that, we close up the Open Government Hour for this week. Thank you, everyone, for joining. If you want to learn more about the Justice Discovery Initiative, please go down to the link below. And if you don't want to miss the next one, please subscribe on all of our channels on codeforsouth.org. We have a newsletter. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, so there's no way you can miss us if you really want to follow. So thank you all, and have a great evening.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank
It was
you.
nice.
Bye bye. It's a pleasure.